Workers late last week began demolishing a bizarre rooftop villa on an apartment complex in Beijing 6 years after it was built. The Beijing Youth Daily reports the villa's well-connected owner hired a team to start dismantling it following intense media scrutiny. Local authorities had threatened to demolish the structure after 15 days if its owner didn't remove it himself. Photos of the mansion spread like wildfire online after local media first reported it some days ago. Chinese media call the villa the most outrageous illegal structure, and the Guardian newspaper described it as the latest symbol of disregard for the law amongst the rich, as well as the rampant practice of building illegal additions. Now, residents living below the structure have complained of chronic leaks and constant noise ever since it was made in 2007. But attempts to reason with the owner were met with indifference. Chinese media say that the owner in question, Zhang Biqing, owns a national chain of acupuncture clinics and was a member of a district-level political advisory body. He reportedly counts amongst his friends prominent celebrities, including movie directors, singers and actors. The Beijing Health Bureau says Zhang, who has described himself as a medical national treasure, actually does not qualify as a medical practitioner. He reportedly amassed a fortune by selling healthcare shoes and later promoted his acupuncture treatment and his own medical theory. However, many who have bought Zhang's products or received his treatment say they're not effective. So, do netizens believe that this is poetic justice against Zhang? Well, to find out what's being said, let's head over now to our researcher Esther Deng in the newsroom. So Esther, briefly, what is the Chinese online community's reaction to this rather unusual story?
Well, this case seemed to have resonated among net users who regularly see the rich and politically connected getting special treatment. Han Qingbo from Hubei has this to say. The villa is an oppressor to all the residents living underneath, and now we want to strike down the privileged elite to ensure a more equal and democratic society. And Chen Guangjiang remarks on the sensation this case has caused. Although illegal construction is far from unusual in China, this super villa still caused a massive stir because it really challenges the bottom line of public tolerance. And Fei Hu on QQ.com says, with all his power, Zhang could have bought a normal villa elsewhere. He should have to pay the price for going to such excess. An anonymous poster on 163.com also has some strong words. On top of everything, this farce took place in our capital city. Just tearing the structure down is not enough. This a-hole, Zhang Biqing, should apologize and compensate the other residents for all the troubles caused. And a poster called Sunny on 10086.cn has an ironic take. But how long will it actually take to dismantle such a great example of architecture? And Xinrui Zhengming has this explanation of why such things happen. Most illegal constructors work in the same way, act without permission, and then brazen it out when attempts are made to enforce the law. For those enforcing these laws, since they know tearing something already built down is a tough task, they need to strengthen planning management and stop illegal construction beforehand.
Now, perhaps we should point out here that authorities only took action after intense media scrutiny, even though this had been there for years, and this media scrutiny obviously on the structure and its owner. Have net users anything to say about this sort of abrupt turnaround by the authorities?
Oh yeah, net users have also noticed that it seems that most online feel the authorities should be held accountable for turning a blind eye for so long. Liu Xuesong on Sina.com points out the very different behavior of the authorities in different cases. The valiant city management officers never hesitate to chase down street vendors and even beat them to death. But for years, they failed to do anything concrete to remove this structure created by someone with some money and social connections. Now that the spotlight of public scrutiny is on them, they finally act with some resolution. Even if the demolition is welcomed by the public, these officials aren't entitled to any of the kudos. And Wang Chuanyan on the Sims says the question of who indulges the illegal constructions deserves some thought. If the initial construction was nipped in the bud, all the waste involved in demolition would have been avoided. The property management company, urban management bureau, and other competent organs should have acted earlier, and they now owe the general public an explanation. Yao Hongen feels similar problems would be resolved more efficiently in the U.S. due to strict regulation and enforcement. In the U.S., even alterations to one's own house mean applying for planning permission beforehand. And adding structures on top of a building would of course mean getting written approval from neighbors. Such an illegal structure would have been reported to the authorities within days of beginning, and measures would be taken soon. While a post on Sohu.com adds, the real reason behind ignoring some lawbreakers is that the supervising organs are in cahoots with them. Apart from punishing the violators, we should also punish the supervising departments for dereliction of duty.
Right, Esther. Now, as we mentioned, Chinese media have revealed further details about the villa's owner, that's Zhang Biqing. I would imagine there's been some comment on that too?
Well, sure. Zhang is definitely under the public focus after this case. First, a lot of net users support experts who attacked Zhang's bizarre medical theories and practice. For example, Duan Changren 9 says, Zhang is crazy to see diseases enter by the neck and should be cured from the neck too. Even from the perspective of TCM, the neck is just an interconnecting pathway rather than a source. And La Feng on QQ.com says there is one positive result from this. If Zhang hadn't built this villa, he would have continued cheating others for the rest of his life, and that would have been a tragedy for everyone involved. Although this poster doesn't agree, better late than never. Zhang's illegal practice should have been exposed much earlier. He has enjoyed all the fruits of his illegal practice, and no punishment enough for him now. And another net user is outraged that advertisements for Zhang's magical shoes, which were once splashed across Chinese press, radio, and TV. Advertisers on media aid swindlers and cheats. They will do anything as long as there's profit involved. And this poster from Jiangsu has noticed Zhang's sudden change in attitude. Now he's suddenly obedient and quiet because he's worried he will end up like the fake Qigong master Wang Ling. And just to explain, that reference is to a fake healer and mystic Wang Ling, who's been forced to flee the country recently. Still, Zhang does have some supporters. One of them is this poster named Xiao Han, who says, he did cure my mother's illness about a decade ago, and she bought a lot of drugs from him. How could that happen if he's a total swindler? However, I have to say Zhang's detractors far outweigh his defenders. For example, Zai Yuzhong argues, Zhang should be prosecuted for fraud and all of his assets should be confiscated. And finally, we have this poster who explains why fake doctors like Zhang are so successful in China. High costs and corruption scandals in normal hospitals have been driving away patients, and they want an alternative medical treatment. In addition, a sense of spiritual emptiness and loss of faith in society, government officials and celebrities all encourage people to resort to seeking help from supernatural sources, and this helps fakes like this to prosper.
Okay, thanks for that, Esther. And that was China Tech researcher Esther Dong on the rise and fall of that bizarre rooftop villa in downtown Beijing. After the break, some of the hottest trending phrases on China's most popular search engines.